Your Steve Jones Show podcast is loading now. The Steve Jones Show podcast is sponsored by Purdy Insurance. Visit Purdy Insurance on Market Street in Sunbury or visit online at purdyinsurance.com.
Mark Jones.
Mark Jones, Doris Burke with the call yesterday on ABC. Reuben Frank now joins us, NBC Sports Philly. Rube, great to have you back.
You know, I was wondering if The Rock sacked Tony Sacca in that game.
It would have been.
Check the stats.
It would have been probably John Sacca.
Johnny Sacca. Okay, yeah, I guess by 92, Tony was with Arizona, I guess.
Yeah, Tony was here 88, 89, 90, 91. So it would have been John Sacca, and the game ended up being a 17-14 win for Miami that day.
Well, I will look for see how Johnny did. Covered Johnny in high school.
Oh, good.
And Ralph and Tony.
Jeez, the whole group of them. Wow, that's amazing, Rube.
Yeah.
Hey, you throw down. Okay, the Dean pick in the third round.
Yeah.
What was your reaction when you saw that? Because in a lot of ways, he was the heart and soul of that Georgia defense.
He really was. And, that doesn't necessarily mean a guy's going to be the best NFL player. But I was shocked. I mean, we saw him slipping and sliding, and, they had a long conversation about maybe taking him at 51. They just really wanted Juergens. They never dreamed he'd still be there when they picked in the third round at 83. There he was. We kind of, he wasn't going to get past the Eagles. And I just felt like they stole him. There's a little risk that comes with it. There are some injuries, but he was cleared. He's practicing this week. He's going to practice this week at rookie camp, and he's a little undersized. He's probably got to put on 7 to 10 pounds of muscle, but he's such a playmaker. He's athletic. He's intelligent. He's instinctive. To get a kid like that, a first round talent in the third round. They stole him. I don't know how else to put it. Things really fell for them on Thursday or on Friday.
Yeah, no question. I'm with you. I think it was a phenomenal pick by them. Hey, look, if it doesn't pan out, he's a third round pick. But you know what? I think it's a great pick for them in the third round. What was the reaction when they made the Brown deal?
Yeah, it's interesting. It was kind of shocked because there were no whispers. There was no, there was no, they're talking, this might happen, this could happen, they're interested. There was none of that. It was out of the blue. So, we were in the media room over at the NovaCare complex, just kind of following the draft, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. So it was kind of a brilliant thing. It really came together quickly. I mean, when you make a trade like that on the clock, they basically had to do, they had to do a contract and the compensation at the same time, and they didn't have a lot of time. So, A.J. Brown had the veto power over the trade because he had to agree to the contract before the trade could get made. So once that happened, and then we heard the compensation, a first rounder and a third rounder, and I was really surprised. I thought, we heard about the trade before we heard about what they gave up. I figured a 1 and a 2, and then maybe like a 5 next year, or something. Mm-hmm. So to get him for a 1 and a 3, a guy who's just a very consistent 1,000-yard type guy, I thought it was a terrific deal.
I mean, what does this do for Devontae Smith, in fact? Because now you got a legit NFL-level number 1 opposite him. How much can Smith now thrive, in your opinion, because of the presence of Brown?
No question about it. And, sometimes in year 2, we see guys kind of take that step backwards because teams know him now, and they know what he's all about, how he plays. But now you have a guy who you've got to really devote some resources to defensively on the other side. I mean, he was playing opposite Jalen Reagor last year. Jalen Reagor played 750 snaps, and he just was a non-factor. So and Devontae still had 900 some odd yards. So to have a legit Pro Bowl wide receiver on the other side, it's going to help him so much. And I'll tell you what, I was trying to think of the last time the Eagles had 2 legitimate wide receivers. And you have to go back to Deshaun and Macklin. I mean, you go back, and there haven't been a lot of times they've had two really good ones. Harold Jackson and Ben Hawkins. How about those guys? They were pretty good.
Right, they were pretty good.
But it's few and far between. And and Quez Watkins is a heck of a number 3. I mean, he had almost 700 yards last year as a third receiver, as a 6th-round pick. So I think they're in better shape than they've been in a long, long time at wide receiver.
Yeah, and wait, they haven't even mentioned having Goddard at tight end.
Yeah, and he put up receiver numbers. I mean, he averaged 15 yards a catch. He had one of the highest averages in history by a tight end. So that's 4 legit weapons they have, and that's going to make Jalen Hurts better. He's going to drop back and have somebody who's going to be open, and so it's going to be a playmaker.
I will openly admit the Jordan Davis pick I'm mixed on. Mm-hmm. I know what the athleticism is. I got it, but I also know the lack of pressure that he puts on when he was taken out on third down, and he only averaged 25 snaps a game. And I watched him in the SEC title game melt away in the fourth quarter because he wasn't in shape.
Yep.
Simple as that. But it doesn't mean he's not talented. What did you think of it?
Yeah, you think at 13 you want a guy that can do both. You're taking a run stuffer at 13 who doesn't have pass rush skills. Now, we asked Howie Roseman and Andy Weidel about that, and they said, he wasn't asked to do that at Georgia. And he came off the field on third down, because they had so many talented pass rushers. And they said they believe it's in his body, it's in his DNA to be able to get to the quarterback. He's probably got to lose 20 pounds, and he's got to get in better shape. But that'll happen here. I mean, he'll be on a program that he's never been on before, and he'll be asked to get to a certain weight, and they feel like he's got the quickness and the power to, maybe not be a 10-sack guy, but be a 5 or 6-sack guy. And I think when you take it at 13, he's got to be that. The Eagles have taken a few defensive tackles in the top half of the draft, Corey Simon and Fletcher Cox, and those are double-digit sack guys. So, you want a one-dimensional guy, you get him in the second or third round. So, they believe it's a risk, and you're right. And he's got to get in shape, and he's got to be a guy who can make plays in the fourth quarter. You're not doing much good if you're gassed by halftime. So, it's a little bit of a risk. There's no doubt. They believe it's a risk that's worth it because he's such a beast against the run, and they believe that if he does get in shape, and they feel like he's a good kid who will, with the nutritionist and the strength and conditioning people, that he can get to, about 330. I think he played at 345 this year, so he definitely needs to work on that.
There were times he played at 360, to be honest.
Probably true. Yep.
Yeah, but we always talk about the influence of veterans. He's going to be in a room with Hargrave and Cox. What kind of influence can they be on his future with Philadelphia?
Yeah, there's no question that stuff is valuable, and that's why you want good people in your locker room, quality character people, because they're going to, even if they know they're on their way out, they're going to share everything they can because they just feel like that's the right thing to do. And Fletcher and Javon are that kind of guy, and they're gonna show him how to be a pro, and they're gonna show him how to, non-football stuff, where to live, who to trust, who not to surround yourself with, where not to go, investing. I mean, all that stuff, and they'll take him under their wing and teach him how to be an NFL player, and then the rest is up to him to take that and run with it.
Rube, is it safe to say that based on the names on the paper, that the Eagles closed the gap on Dallas?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. I don't think they've caught him because Dallas has Dak, and Dak is better than any quarterback in the division. And, so until somebody can, until a quarterback in the NFC East can close the gap, I think it's going to be really tough for a team to close that gap. So, Jalen Hurts potentially can be that kind of guy, but he's got to do it. And I think, like you said, having more weapons will help him, but he's got to be more consistent. He's got to be more of a playmaker down the field. And if he can do that, I think they've upgraded a lot of areas that they needed to. So, But I would say Dallas is still the team to beat. I don't think Dallas had a particularly good draft. So long term, I think, the Eagles have some young talent for the first time in a long time. They've had 2 pretty good drafts in a row. So if they can get some more consistent play out of the quarterback, they have a chance to catch the Cowboys.
Rube, always great talking with you. I know you've got to get to your next assignment. We appreciate your time very much.
Anytime. Talk to you soon.